going back to they, them, and we're trying to find a way to assist people on their journeys around getting to they, them.
Yes.
And understanding ukuthi kwabanye akufani nabanye, starting point sabantu asifani. Khona abantu abakhule in spaces understanding ukuthi ngavele ngithi ingquza, that's wrong. But there's people that grew up in spaces where for them it might take them a lot longer. So just understanding ukuthi lo muntu uphuma kuphi. Let me quick sidebar. Where I live in my complex, I remember the first time I moved in 2015. I'm walking, I'm wearing rugby shorts, T-Sabs, I'm wearing a vest.
Your hoochie daddy shorts. Hey, daddy.
So yeah, khuluma la. Ngicisha. Namu they them manje sibaningi. So nipakanyele. And I remember I'm walking through my complex and the oldest Afrikaans granny ever. Oldest. When I say oldest, I'm like, she was there for a year and Fagufai Bob came over. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm walking and she literally goes, Sien? Ne? And I go, how? Koko. And she goes, and as I go there, she says, my gras is nie gesny. And I'm like, oh, for those, it's my cross is not cut. So she calls me boy. I go there.
Oh, you can put in a subtitle in post.
No one's going to put subtitles for you, please. And then she's like, and I look at this granny who's just like, you can see that breathing is a struggle. She grew up, 1842, Mlotshwa. And I'm like, I'll make it happen, don't worry. And then I walk away. Because I don't want to carry that energy. Now I'm going to sing Kokona 95.
And if she was black, would it mean something different?
It wouldn't have meant something different.
Is that the...
Because she looked at me. Now I'm going
do you think it was racial?
One, it had to be racial because all the people that cut the grass look like me.
But she's old as fuck.
But you're wearing
and I'm
hot pants and a vest.
I'm wearing a vest. And then she said that, and I was like,
no,
that's a you thing.
No, but I'm saying if this was a 45-year-old white lady that came and said with the same energy of Afrikaans lady, it said Sien, I'd be like, and I could have, kept on walking. So I wouldn't have taken it the same, but I understood
the context,
the generation. Looking like that, the way that she sees black people is very different than a 45. If a 45-year-old
people,
because I'm black in a complex with Amaponu, they just know black guys.
But if she were black, the same phrase.
Well, I guess so. So maybe it's not a racial thing then. It's just young.
You're young.
No, well, I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry. But I was trying to. All I'm trying to say is that at that point, I understood where she came from. Okay. Rather than me getting fixated in the racial and positive. It could be. I'm like,
you do need your
100-year-old granny.
I am younger than you.
So I just went. I told the guys that do it and they cut the grass.
So, but how much? Okay, so here's my question. So, how much of that do we take? How much of I understand where someone comes from do we take in order to sort of shape our reality? Because at that point, I get manje. What did you do? You went to go tell the guys who cut grass because now somehow your divine duty to go and make this thing happen. So how much of abanye abantu, ukuthi lo ngiyambona come emakhaya, lo ngiyambona ukuthi usema-suburbs.
But context matters.
But I'm saying how much of that do we have to take?
Because you go because
when do we get to people not being pissed off about pronouns?
I've been with Sparky in many spaces where he walks in and he goes Sanmonan, and people have rolled their eyes. Because you just saw black people and you just said Sanmonan.
As opposed to Sanmonani, Absheni, Acheng, Molweni,
whatever. But again, what was his intention? Coming from KZN, when you walk into a room, you greet, and he greeted in his language, vernac, and he was humble and he was respectful.
Sure.
However, people then took offense to the mere fact that
you came through with your language and
your language. You didn't ask us.
I think the problem in that situation is the people.
But all I'm trying to explain is, as you had said, context matters.
Absolutely.
And intention matters.
And context is more about you than the person or even the situation.
Once the person
If
is
you're
educated,
open-
once the person is educated, good to know who they them. Ne? Obviously, I'm gonna make mistakes here and there. Forgive us,
course.
but generally over time, you're like, "Aye, bro, when I got my mistake, when's
Behle
I
sodwa njengoba ngichazile ukuthi mina nginabantu abazobukela leli video yenu bethi uBlessing simazi simlandela who they them wethu esimlandelayo wavumelani ukuthi kuthiwe uhe. It is the only basis on which I corrected you 15 minutes ago.
Manje unaka ukuthi bazothina abantu.
Not ukuthi bazothini.
Unaka ukuthi abantu bazothina.
Ngibamele eindaweni angeke bafike bona kuzona. Ngizothini. Ngeke ngibacabange all the time, but when I do, I do. I'm not going to bind myself to always correct. Like I've never corrected a client.